Good morning. Well, it's not good morning for everybody. Whew. How are you? Is everybody in?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. I think most everybody in this meeting knows us. I'm Don Romeka.
I'm Andrew Ehler.
Do you always get up this early?
Unfortunately, most of the time we do. I'm usually not camera ready by this time, but yeah, unfortunately, usually up this early.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
We got, what time did you get up?
About 4.
4. I got up at 3:30. We came to the space here in Monterey and turned on the TV, and you know what was going on TV? Breakfast at Wimbledon. So the spirit of that, Andrew and I are going to play some king-size tennis. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to try and keep this fun, short, brief. We know everybody's getting pretty busy and things are ramping back up, and we're excited to see it. Our software is usually more valuable when there's a lot of operating cash flow going through a business, because it's designed to make you more productive, obviously more profitable. So real quick, just so everybody knows, we're doing this now for an hour, and then we're going to do the same thing-ish for noon to 1 our time, local time. This is going to have a little bit of an international flair because we've been listening, and you'll see Ali's on the call here in the meeting over in the UK, and we're excited about our expansion in Europe. And then tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow, Andrew?
So tomorrow will be basically, we're going to conceptually give a good overview of a number of different things today. And then tomorrow, Dana and Ali, Dana Smith, our development team lead, and Ali Sumar will be given more of a thorough overview of some things that we've created over the last 90 days that we're excited about. And I'm going to get into the weeds on that here in just a minute. So
absolutely. And I think the key there is we just, we're thanking you all for being here this morning. We're thanking you for all the feedback you've given us. And, I really got to kind of make note of a couple things. We've gotten a lot of help from customers. We also got a lot of help from some potential customers. And our adage is always to treat people that aren't customers like customers, and they'll eventually become a customer. And then ultimately our business model breaks down to really one simple thing. If they trust us and then they trust us enough to tell a friend, that's our business model. And it's as simple as that. But the folks at Newman Mueller in Germany, they're joining us here, and they're still going through an evaluation process, and they've teed up a lot of things. They've been kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, but we like that because they've really helped us raise the bar for them, but it also has raised the bar in other areas for our customer base and our future customers, and we thank them for that. Now, as far as our customers go, you guys keep doing what you're doing. We've got a balance of long-term customers. We got some new customers in this meeting, and we appreciate it. And we wouldn't be here if we didn't have you. So, and then our team, we got some people up kind of early, I guess. Ali, let me spotlight this guy for just a minute, right? Ali joins with a lot of industry experience. He's based in the UK, and he is, he's blessed with being the first guy up to deal with any problem going on. So thank you for taking the lead role, Ali. But I think what's weird is our customers in the US can really appreciate somebody that's very alert and awake when things maybe are going wrong in the morning, because at the end of the day, we all know software is not perfect. Things do happen, but it's the way you handle those things that happen. And Ali, thanks for leading the charge. Caroline in Oklahoma, she's the ultimate communicator. She's doing an excellent job for us. And we're actually excited to get her out to a lot of events here coming up. We'll talk more about that later. We're going to talk about the Monterey event here coming up next quarter, at the end of next quarter. And she's usually the leader of our events. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the 007 theme, and she was, what was her theme? What was she?
She was the, oh, well, she was our host.
She was the host, but what was she? She was like, just, it was like, she's wearing, got her martini glass, and she's a freaking trainer. She's a teacher of software, and she makes it so fun, and that's awesome. Caroline, and then Andy Bunyard, he's our British Canadian, he's originally from the UK, and he's up there in Mississauga, and he's riding shotgun with some great customers like Stage Vision, and he's been working a lot with Stanford University. We're hopeful to get them on an upgrade here soon. But at the end of the day, Andy, great job. The guy I really want to spotlight, and if you can make it to Monterey, and we're going to talk more about that here in a little bit, you're going to be able to witness probably one of the best drummers in the whole world. He too is just an implementation success team leader. His name's Daniel Morrell. He works out of Virginia, and this guy, he could play the drums better than anybody I've ever heard or even seen. It's kind of cool to watch. He's got a great family, loves the outdoors, and we're blessed to have him. It's hard to spotlight our whole team, but we just want to point out that. You want to mention anything about Daniel?
Well, yeah, a couple of things. Number one, interesting thread about all four of those folks that I think a lot of times some like customers and potential customers don't realize. Each of these folks worked in the industry. They worked for either an IntelliEvent customer or another, AV production company, something in that world. And Daniel actually was that he was working for a customer, and he was getting ready to have some little tykes. And I think, as we all know, in the AV world, you can get burnt out traveling, going nonstop, working 36-hour shifts, and doing all the crazy stuff. So he was looking for a little bit of a pivot. And I was actually hosting, I think it was with Caroline, a user forum in Washington, D.C. Something that we're excited to get back to doing, which is having user forums at a customer site or very close to a customer site. And anyways, long story short, Daniel happened to come to that. We kind of hung out after, talked about opportunities, and we realized very quickly he was a perfect fit for our team, our style. He gave us more East Coast presence. And since then, I mean, he's trained countless customers, Conference Technologies, many customers, KBL, AV Workshop. He's in the process of training many customers, Drape Kings, Michael Andrews. He's taken a lot of enterprise guys live, and I think what the common thread, that feedback from customers, is Daniel gets in and he really understands the industry. Again, that's a common thread with all these guys. They know your world, and when they're teaching you how to use the software, whether you're a prospect now or you're a current customer, you can always go back, spend time with Daniel or Caroline or Andy to reevaluate your processes, because as the software evolves, so should your business and your SOPs inside the business. So Daniel's done a phenomenal job, as have all these guys, and I think that's the point of spotlighting these guys here. And so keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And then another person in this meeting is Lauren. I think she's always, we call her the 411. She's got the info and intel on so many things in our industry, and it was so wonderful to bring her into to our company. Our cultures really match up perfect. She cares a ton. She's got a strong character, and when we talk about sales and marketing, I'm always talking about fishing. I like, if you guys come to Monterey, trust me, I'll get you out on the boat. Maybe we'll catch some fish, but one of the most fun fish to catch is albacore. And if you catch an albacore and you're trolling, you stop the boat, you bring that albacore, and the whole school follows. And in essence, that's Lauren's job. She's our top fisherman. So anyway, but she's doing an excellent job. She's actually got the quant on this thing too, right?
Yep.
Her and Allie are actually tag teaming it. But thank you, Lauren. Did Dana make it to this one, or
he's going to be on the next one?
He's on the next one. Okay, because we were talking, Lauren and I were talking, we're getting ready for you guys. And she's like, man, I got up so early this morning, my cat was confused, and then same thing with me. My dog's looking at me like, what are you doing? It's like, I said, go back to bed. You'll be all right. All right. So I do want to spotlight or actually I want to say the word leadership, right? So we expect all of our team members to be strong leaders. even if maybe nobody's reporting to him, but it's just taking on challenges. If a customer calls, to resolve it and take care of business and stay on it until it's completed. But I think obviously everybody knows Andrew, right? My right-hand man. He's my my work wife, so to speak. He's a heck of a cook, by the way. He if Tina ever kicked me out, you know, I'm heading to Andrews, but I'm going to spotlight him first. So he, you know, he's, I'm going to start cheering up. I'll probably get him crying here in a minute because his you know, everybody heard of Infocom, right? Infocom's great show. His first day on the job, how old's your daughter now?
She's 18.
18. So 18 years ago, we're on a flight to Orlando. Infocom's coming up in Orlando again. He's white knuckled. He's in the early days, he just really didn't like to fly. Do you love flying still? No. But literally we go to Infocom and then 2 weeks later, his daughter was born. So at the end of the day, his daughter is now going to Baylor University. He raised her well, great job. And
Step one.
so, but what you know what that means is she's going to be out of the house and he needs to get on the road and go see all of you. So that's the truth. And we're appreciative of that. And we're going to go do that. Dana Smith, I think he's not on this meeting, so I don't have to spend too much time on him, but everybody knows Dana. He's taken on a leadership role, but he earned it. I think a lot of our developers are very humble, but he's kind of our alpha in the group. Now Nick Malise right behind him, you don't want to mess with that guy. He's in phenomenal shape and he's tough, kind of like Christoph. I'm looking at him right now. But anyway, so but as far as leaders go, we've developed them. And then Allie, last but not least, I'm going to say Allie, again, like I said, he's first in when it comes to success team stuff, and he's really taken a leadership role with those guys. Because at the end of the day, we sell it, we implement it, and then we got to take care of you for life. And he's a great systems guy, but he's really got an understanding of what makes us tick and what makes us great. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn the mic or whatever, the Zoom audio over to Mr. Ehler.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of get into the weeds, as I like to say and refer to on a few things. So, you know, we've been doing these kind of Zoom events, if you will, pretty much every 90 days since the pandemic hit. And we've added a lot of things through the last year and a half to kind of interact with our clients differently, because we can't do what we love most, which is visit with you guys face to face, right? It's been much more challenging to, you know, fly to New York and see people in DC, Connecticut, Boston, right? And we haven't been able to go to trade shows, and we haven't been able to have user forums. In 2019, we did 13 different styles of user forums that were face to face. Some were small groups, 8 people. Some were big groups well over 100, like our IntelliEvent Profitability Summit. And so I think that's been one of my personal biggest challenges, but I know our company's biggest challenge is not being able to see people face to face. And we're just excited. This is kind of like our precursor for not our last big Zoom meeting like this, but leading into our first live event, right? So what I want to do is kind of highlight some things we've done since our last event, which was our 007 event, a little bit more formal. We had our tuxes on today. We're going cash. We're going to talk about the things we've done over the last 90 days, which is a lot. I could spend an hour talking about it, but I'm going to keep it brief. We're going to talk about some things we're doing in the immediate future, as in we're working on it right now, and then some things that we're going to do in the short-term future thereafter, and some things that we've changed and evolved to really get better from a development team and get better from a team success-wise. And you've heard Don talk about our success team. And what we consider our success team is anybody that's taking care of our clients. You know, you put in a ticket in the system, which you can do live from the site. You place a phone call, any of those things. Our team is going to interact with you live, and they're going to interact with you inside the ticket. Those are success team members. That's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about some expansion of that as well. So I think first and foremost is the exciting stuff, right? What have we built over the last just 90 days? So everything I'm going to mention in this first spot is just what we've done since then, which I feel like is impressive. A lot of it's little things, and some of them are bigger things. So the first area that I'm going to talk about is the kind of what we call the product wizard, which is the products page of the job screen. Okay, and I should mention, I'm going to kind of conceptually give you guys an understanding of what it is, and then Dana tomorrow and Allie are going to kind of really show you these items in action, and show you kind of how they were created and what their intent to do, or what their intent is. So the first thing is inside the product wizard, we've made a number of changes to our packages. So for a long time, for the users that are using it, have wanted a header only package, and you can now do a header only package. And for those of you who have been waiting for it, I think Rob at Stage Vision's on this, but others that this is a good item. We've also got an item that's a bubble up package, which works in conjunction to some extent with our recursive suggestions. And what that means is you can now create a list of suggestions that tiers into another list of suggestions, and so on and so on. So you put in an item, I put in this laptop, and it suggests that I need a table to go under it. That table might have suggestions that are another list, the legs. So it's recursive. It keeps folding and folding and folding, and you can drop all those in. Our folks that Allie's working with at Universal Pixels, I believe, are the ones that kind of innovated with us on that, which is exciting. And I'm going to talk about how we're changing how we innovate and create products. So the last thing that you can see directly from the product wizard now is your pack status. So you can see where it's at in the status process of check in, check out. One of our themes and changes over the last quarter and continuing into the future is really honing in on workflow. And this is, that pack status is one thing that, really tie in check out to in the status of the packing process back to the job. And again, we're gonna continue to really hone in on our workflows to make things efficient, speed up the process of different areas of the system, and tie them together. Again, I'll get to that in a sec. So another thing that we've been, some other things we've been focused on is the job itself. So inside the job, we've got a few different things. Similar to that, we have a pack status on the job itself. Now, in the bottom area of the job where you have your check-in and your check-out, you can also create a hold. There's a little tick box directly from there. You can do the same as our traditional holds, where it allows you to either flag the people in checkout or lock checkout. So if you're kind of a real world example, if you're in the sales process, clients making a ton of changes, you can quickly come in, one check mark, lock that job. So that's going to inform the warehouse, hey, timeout. Don't pull anything else on this job. We might have major changes coming to this. Let's hold on, let's lock it, and then we'll unlock it once we've made all the changes, communicate directly through the system, with checkout, so they know what's going on. We've also added a really cool area. You might have seen it because it has come out in some recent releases, which is our discussion log. It's a little tab in the middle screen of the job window, right next to your products and your change log. And what that discussion log is it really allows you to communicate internally with your team. Now, there's also notification triggers tied to that. Those notification triggers, if you highlight somebody, I say, Caroline, put in information, she's going to get an email with that information. We also have a tie to GChat, so that discussion log can go directly to your chat. If you use Google Chat, you'll get that information in real time. It, of course, stores in there as well, inside the job, so you can see a historical of that. So any communication, a little different than the tasks. This is just going to be a free typed information on that. If Daniel wants to tell the team, hey, I did the site survey, here's some details on it, for this particular job, he could throw that right in there. Now, what's cool about that is the notification triggers is kind of the start of more to come. We built kind of the background, and Dana's going to talk a little bit about this tomorrow, for the ability to have notifications based on a specific user send them information via email or via chat. This is going to expand our abilities throughout the rest of our notification tree, and give us kind of a much more powerful triggers, if you will, to be auto-generated by the system. Now, also staying in the job screen, because obviously the jobs is where we spend a lot of time, so we spend a lot of time developing in there. So we can now add external links. Again, you may have seen that tab down on the bottom of the main job screen where you have job notes, scope of work. Then there's the next tab is external links right next to files. That external links allows you to put exactly that, an external link tied to that job. So this could be a link to the URL for the venue that it's taking place at. Could be a URL to more of like the Facebook type page that you're communicating through. So that if your event planner has a tool on their website, you can have that link directly to there. Kind of endless possibilities on what that URL link can tie to within the job, keeping everybody informed in there. Now, another two things that you can do in the job types. So within your job types now, you can have default times. So if you go into the back end, the system options in the setup, go to job types, you'll now see a field that where it looks like a time. So the purpose behind this is, let's say every time you do a straight rental, it's always returned at 5 p.m. You can now put in 5 p.m. So your salesperson puts in job type rental, boom, it pops in 5 p.m. automatically. If you do jobs like that, again, we're just taking a couple keystrokes away, have it automatically set up, make it as easy as possible on your team. And then you also have some new job locks as well. I think we even call it a super job lock, where it locks the job completely, including AR, and doesn't let you change anything. Okay, moving to the check-in page, and we're doing a lot of cool things in check-in and in check-out coming, which I'll mention. But the main one in the check-in page is being able to repack to a new job. Now, not to be confused with repack to a new logistics plan, which we've always had, or for a long time we've had. What that does to the logistics plan, that moves the items that are not scanned in to a new plan that's already been created, right? We're going, the concert's going from San Francisco to Portland, right? So it never sees the warehouse, we just rescan it in and we're good to go. What the repack to a new job is, this allows you from check-in to repack it and create a new job. Client says, you know what, we're going to keep this for another week, as opposed to scanning it in, scanning it back out, or going in and creating a new job from the job screen. All I have to do, click of a button, I can create a new job, gives me my duplicate tool with all the different options, and I jam that out, very, very quickly. That really helps speed up the check-in to back out process for flowing events or reoccurring events that you might have. So that's in check-in. More to come on the check-in screen, as I'm going to get to on kind of what we're working on now in a sec. Now we also have security levels. Everybody really cares about security, right? Security is important. Kind of overseeing your team with parameters inside the system. And this is an area of the system that I recommend quarterly you revisit. Dana and I were chatting, we make anywhere from 2 to 5, security enhancements per month. Meaning somebody has an idea, Rob says, hey, I need this new security setting. We pop it in. We put it in the release notes, so we do try to mention it, but sometimes that gets lost in the weeds. So I think it's good to revisit those at least once a quarter, to make sure there's not some new security settings. Really dig into the release notes to find those. We've also changed the layout of that security screen to make it a little bit easier. As that list has grown, anybody who's modified security settings knows it used to be you click on something and a list a mile long comes and you had to scroll and, I see Andy smiling, that part was kind of a pain in the butt, right? Now we've done some locking to make it easier. It's just more, common sense. So when you get in there, you'll see it's quite a bit easier to do that. So some other things we've done in security really allow us to focus on our global expansion and how it impacts the world. It impacts our current customers. Because a lot of you guys have probably, you're sitting in Connecticut, you've brought I don't care what goes on in London or Germany, well, it does make an impact, and it makes an impact in a few different ways. One, specifically inside the software, we're making changes to impact everyone, whether it's foreign currency. We've added the ability to have foreign currency throughout. So if you're doing an event or want to do an event, you're in Connecticut, you want to do it in Canada, you can simply have that exchange rate. Obviously, if you're in Europe and you're doing, jobs moving around the continent, you can have those foreign currencies set up in the system. You can have a system default of currency as well. Now, another thing that's really impactful for everyone, the biggest thing is, why are we here at 5 a.m., right? We're here to help support our customers around the globe, whether you're in Australia or Europe or anywhere in between. And we don't want to be up at 5 a.m. doing these. On our next one, we plan on our team that Ali's building in London or Germany, anywhere in Europe, we plan on that team doing the 5 a.m. call, the 3 a.m. call Pacific time. And that's where we're going. What that allows our customers here in North America, you're up, you're on a gig at midnight, you're up at 5 a.m., you have an issue with the software, you're going to get supported immediately. The guys perfect example of that, guys at New York Tent, we're having an issue with finding a report or something. I can't remember what it was. It was 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. their time. Ali got back to them within 2 minutes. That's gives us that ability now to support you in a much broader scope, and that's what we want as we move towards just a pure 24/7 clock time, as we're going to get to here. And that's a big part of the global expansion. So
the other thing too, I think it's because there's obviously a lot of languages, spoken throughout the world, and obviously Google Translate does a pretty decent job sometimes, but we are doing some things to make it even more natively localized, where you can really dictate what the translation is in your local languages, whether it's German or Spanish or Italian or whatever. So, but a lot of those things are things that we got our eyes on, and again, we appreciate all the feedback and helping us make that happen. So,
yeah, we're excited about that and the feedback. So the next thing I'm going to get to is probably the biggest thing that we've done in the last 90 days, which is we've added custom templates. What does that mean? We've always had somewhat custom templates. Not really. Now we have custom templates. So the main custom template editor is complete. It's in everybody's site. So you can create a custom job template. Anybody who's been on our open discussions, you can tell it's substantially easier to do. We've overhauled it completely to make it easier for our clients to get in there and edit. We're always going to continue to support you and create templates. I know it's one of Daniel and Caroline's favorite things to do. That's sarcasm, but now it's substantially easier. Now, what we've also done is we've created a custom PO module. So you can create custom PO templates. Was another big pain in the butt. What that has freed up is countless hours for our development team. Before, because of the way the templates were designed in our POs, any PO changes, overhaul type changes, our development team had to do it. Now it's much easier. Daniel, Ali, Andy, any of us can help you with PO templates. We've also created a custom packing list. So your packing list, which is always, I think it's been a weakness. Any of you guys know it's been very rigid. Now you can, custom overhaul your packing list to make it look exactly like you want and have your barcodes and serial numbers show up on it. And then lastly, we've created a custom pull sheet. So again, another area that was a little rigid at times. You always had to have the 3 boxes, or you had to have the big header. We've modified that. So now you've got substantially more flexibility. Little tidbit on something we're working on in the very short term is the ability to have a custom call sheet grid. So any of you, labor folks that can't stand the current call sheet, you're probably applauding right now. So that should be out here shortly as well. And we're very excited about that. We've done some pretty extensive enhancements to our Gantt report. And we now have, I believe we have 4 different Gantt reports now, labor, products, job view. So we've got, we've just continued to enhance and speed up that process of how those work. If you haven't looked at the Gantt views, I really encourage you to watch the Wise Up webinars on the Gantt view. I think Daniel's done one. I think Caroline's done one, specifically on the Gantt view. Take 45 minutes, pass it around to your team. You can kind of watch that video. And that was a shameless segue into our Wise Up webinars. So our Wise Up webinars, for those of you who don't know, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we do a webinar on a specific topic. And it's really just a training. It's a group training where we teach you on a specific topic. It could be, like I mentioned, the Gantt view, which is very detailed. It could be much more broad, like order entry. It's a great way to have your team learn. We all know, unfortunately, a lot of teams shrunk and are growing again. It's a great free way, free being the key word, to send your team to learn about all the changes that have happened to the system and kind of learn the different areas of the system. Okay, so a couple more things to cover. One is kind of the modules that we have. So a lot of times what happens is you become a customer and you kind of get stuck doing what you're doing. Stage Vision's on the call. I think they've been a customer since '97. They've seen us go through multiple products, and they're a great Lightning user. But sometimes you can not look at what's new. So I want to just quickly highlight some of those new modules that we have. Some have either been created in the last 90 days or been substantially enhanced, and I'll kind of highlight those. The first is a vendor catalog. So what you can do now, if you have the vendor catalog module, is within an inventory item or a product, you can define which vendors you get that product from, and vice versa. From each vendor, you can define which products that vendor has. Within that catalog, I can define what their pricing tiers are. If they have a min-max, order quantities, you can define that as well. So, you've got to order a minimum of 10, or you can only order a maximum of 100, yada, yada. You could throw all that in there. The pricing will tie directly to, the PO module as you pull that product in or that vendor, right? So you go to get a Christie projector from, Brett and the guys at Nationwide. You've worked out a special price with them. Boom, it's going to lock it in automatically. Makes it kind of idiot-proof for the sales team or the purchasing department. Really can speed up and enhance, make sure everything's dialed in with your vendors. The next one that we have, I'm very excited about, which is our survey system. So you can build a custom survey. We just had an open discussion on this, but you can build a custom survey that's tied into your job. So post-event, or even during the event, but I think most commonly post-event, you go into your email, you send them out a little thank you note in the survey. Your client gets it. They can then fill out that survey information. That survey can be questions that they can just put in notes. It can be a toggle of 1 through 5, and now it can be a yes or no, which was an idea that came from our open discussion from I believe it was Rick Pollock at TST. So anyhow, really excited about the surveys. You'll get that feedback. There's a survey report that'll break down basically what your score is, right? It'll give you the notes or your score. So, what's the cleanliness of our freelance techs? 3 and a 4, so your score is a 3.9 or whatever it might be, right? Good way to analyze how you guys are doing, bring into, your production staff meetings and say, guys, this is what the customers are saying. it really allows you to kind of point to something to say, here's what we're doing, or big pat on the back. You guys are doing great. We're a 5 across the board. Okay. Another one you've probably heard about for over a year now is IntelliSign. We continue to push it because it's a really big value add to our customers. IntelliSign is an e-signature tool so that you can send any template out from the job screen for digital signature. We have continued to make some enhancements on that, putting in initials and having unlimited signatures. So we're continuing to overhaul that. If you don't use IntelliSign and you use another e-signature tool, I really encourage you to look at IntelliSign. I talked to a customer literally 2 weeks ago that said they're paying 1/10 what they were paying in DocuSign, which Don probably doesn't want to hear because that means we're underpricing it. But at the end of the day, it's all about saving everyone money, right? So, and it really does. It's a very affordable solution to save you money and get you the same results. That's the key. There's really no change from if you're using Adobe Sign or DocuSign. And in fact, it's better because it's integrated right into the system. So if somebody forgets to attach the file, that goes away because we do it automatically. Now, the next one, also very excited about, I apologize, I get excited about all these, but IntelliTime. IntelliTime is a great new tool that allows you, it's basically a time clock for your staff. We have IntelliTime, we kind of rolled out during the middle of the pandemic in a very elementary form. You could come in, clock in, clock out, that was it. We've continued to enhance it. We're on phase 2 of 4 phases. We just finished phase 2, which is the ability to assign that directly to a job and put in a task and labor position independent from a job that you can then tie back to a job. So really honing in on the pre-production costs of your big events. You do a 4-hour meeting, clock into it. It's designed for a specific project. You go back in after the job's created, simply put in the job number, click of a button, I can send those hours to my actual costs for that job. So very powerful when we get down to the P&L for the job. We're getting a much more accurate understanding of the labor and time we've put into an event. Now, some things we're working on immediately. Like I said, we're talking about what we've done, what we're doing now, and what we're going to do. Phase 3 of the labor, which isn't there yet, but it is getting close, is tying that to our app. So a lot of you may already be using our CRM app, but what the labor tool will allow you to do in its next iteration is directly from the mobile app, you'll be able to go in, whether you're a labor resource or you're an actual user, and you'll be able to punch in and punch out. So therefore, your freelancers can download the app. They can't see any sensitive information, but they can tie directly to the job and all that fun stuff and put in their time clock and whatnot. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, I've covered a lot. Got a couple more things, and then we're going to get into some more exciting stuff about what we're doing here in the near future. So as a kind of a segue into what we're doing now, right? Yeah, I've talked about a couple of things, right? The time clock is a big one that we're doing now. We're doing somewhat of a complete overhaul of the global labor scheduler. You may have noticed the labor screen in the job is not exactly parallel with the global labor scheduler at the moment, because we've made enhancements to the job screen and the API in the back end to make it easier to do things directly in the site and some of our integrations. We're going to be doing the same thing in our global labor scheduler, so those will mirror much better. We are also enhancing one of our good partners on the labor side is a company called Lasso. And we've had an integration with them for some time, where you build things in the job, you press the Lasso button and it zaps out some information to Lasso where you can do things on their end. We're enhancing that further. We've both been working on some API endpoints in the back end to be able to communicate better. And we're working on that currently, bringing over tasks and groups and some different things in there. And then we're also continuing to enhance our Avalara integration. For those of you who don't know what Avalara is basically a tax software that verifies, tax regions throughout the world to make sure that they're correct and your tax rates are correct. As I mentioned, we've always had an integration, or for a long time had an integration. You put in a venue, click a button, it sends some information to Avalara and pulls it back down. We're enhancing that for really, this is probably mostly for our companies that have multiple locations. We've always only been able to send one office. You'll be able to bridge out to multiple, so that, different tax rates and tax exempt. There's a number of different things in there. So look for that on the horizon. If you want more information on the Lasso integration or the Avalara integration, don't hesitate to reach out to any team member, and we can get you more information on that, as well as the modules that I kind of went through. Each of those modules, we have a Wise Up webinar for, so you can absolutely go sit in on the Wise Up webinar, get an understanding of what it is. I know Andy or Caroline or any of the team members would gladly jump on a session, take 15 minutes and give you an overview as well. So don't hesitate to learn, to find out if that's something that can really enhance the efficiency of your businesses. Okay, that's kind of the what we're doing now. So just a little bit of the glimpse of that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is, what are we doing moving forward? We're constantly, Don and I sit around a lot and talk about, about what we're going to try to make, how we can get better, right? And this is one of those things that I'm going to mention here in just a second. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
Like I said, we talk a lot about how can let's study the past to get better in the future, right? And I think one of the things we've learned is that getting information from our customers helps us develop smarter, right? And for a long time, we'd always be one client telling us one thing to do, and we build that one thing. And I'm a big proponent of one-to-many, right? Create software that's one-to-many, learn from many to create one thing, right? And, we started doing these open discussions. If you haven't been to one, urge you to go to those. They're every other Wednesday. We pick a topic, much like our Wise Up webinars, but instead of training on it, we get everyone's feedback on that specific topic. So, we just did one on the survey system. We got about 10 little enhancements. We've already put in 3 of those enhancements. And it was a week ago. So that we can develop much more rapidly because we can learn from many. So that got us to thinking, okay, well, we've got a lot of modules that we want to build for the future. Well, let's take some specialists in the industry, some folks that really understand that area and want to be development partners to learn about those areas. And we did in Q2, we started kind of 3 focus groups. And the focus group is something we're going to really hone in on moving forward. And we're opening that up to as many people as we need. The first one we did was we try to find an area that we can vastly improve, or an area that we don't have at all that we can create, right? And one of them was transfers, multi-location and transfers. And we got a team of customers together. A big thank you to CMI. Big thank you to the guys at Quest. Big thank you to the folks at Conference Technologies and Vincent Lighting. They kind of spearheaded this focus group to talk about how can we make our transfer process better, whether it's inside of job transfers, external transfers. And we spent a ton of time analyzing the transfer process to make it smoother. And now we've got an outline to build that area of the system. We're very excited. The next one is a topic everybody's heard about for years. Some people think it's fiction. We think it has legs, which is RFID. So we got a group of folks together, Bespoke, folks up in Toronto, and Volt down in LA did a great job. They even went as far to invest in some chips to help us analyze through this focus group process. We had a number of meetings with them just to kind of review, outline. Chris at Bespoke was a champion, kind of created some outlines and everything, to really a team collaborative effort. And we haven't even cut any code yet. but we have the perfect outline to speed up the process when we get into it and make sure we're doing it the right way to fit our industry. Because, RFID for Walmart, piece of cake, scanning diapers through a thing is a lot different than taking a microphone with these frequencies and metal chips and cables that get wrapped underneath. I mean, so we want to do a lot of focus on this area before we open up the patient and start, cutting. The last one we did was kind of on accounting and credits, kind of our whole payments area, accounting principles, all of those things. And we worked closely with Show STT up in Montreal and Webb out in Salt Lake City to get, to accurate accounting principles and making sure that our credit process was as smooth as possible. And we're very excited about the outline of those. We're going to take these focus groups and we are going to apply them to workflow groups. If you were on an open discussion, I think 3 open discussions ago, we talked about creating better workflows. And one of our goals this quarter is to really start to outline workflows. And it's going to lead up to the main thing we're talking about, which is our event in September. We're going to have multiple breakout rooms in at our event in September to create better workflows to transition from the job workflow to the check-in, check-out process, how routing ties to labor, how labor and routing tie back to the job, all of that flow, that intertwining workflow. We want to create user groups or focus groups to have those. And that is going to be a big part of what we do in September. So with that said, I'm going to kind of transition. We're going to talk about the events we have upcoming, and it's going to lead into all into our September event, which is a very, very big event for us.
Yeah, and I think, thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Well done. Man, this guy is like a dang IntelliEvent encyclopedia. Woo! Seriously. But I think he speaks to a great product that continues to evolve. And again, he's given credit to our team working with you all, and we appreciate the feedback because, you guys really define our success ultimately. He did talk about in 2019, we ended that year with a phenomenal event that we hosted. We're going to show a video at the end of this that just kind of highlights what we did here. And there was a lot going on, but I think the key was continue to get people together live and just get better together. But and we also, in our 2020 calendar, as we all had, a lot of things got canceled, and we had things set up at Zebra headquarters as it relates to RFID. One of our keynote speakers is a guy that runs the Zebra Venture Partners, and he teed up a nice event that got canceled, but we're going to do it again probably next year. But the key was to really show all the gadgets that make up RFID. There's a lot of things going on there, and we don't want to tie ourselves to old technology. We want to tie ourselves to the new and want to make sure we do the right thing there. We had an event scheduled for Andy Bunyard at the Falls View Casino. We were there a couple of years ago, and our main contact there, Auntie, got us concert tickets, and we went and saw Pitbull, and I didn't get to go, but these guys, these beautiful rooms looking over the Niagara Falls. But we like getting out there with our customers, and I think Q3 and Q4, obviously our event here in Monterey, we want everybody, as many people to get here as possible. Bring your families, bring your wife, your kids. We'll keep them occupied. Have Tina give them a tennis lesson or something if you bring your kids. But what we're doing specifically as we roll out here, the soonest thing that we're going to be doing is the Rental Staging Network. We're going to be present at the event coming on in July, Pittsburgh. The special event show in Miami will be there. Then we roll into our profitability summit here in Monterey. That ties into NAB, which is right after. That's going to be in Vegas. The American Rental Association show is right after that in Vegas. The famous Infocom is going to be back in Orlando. We're excited to be there. Andrew's most excited about this. He's going to go to the AV Alliance meeting in Dubai. Never been to Dubai. It sounds amazing. And then wrapping it up with LDI in Vegas. And then if we can, maybe we'll have a holiday party here and bring people back out again if they want to. So we're excited to get our team together. And you guys are part of our team. So just getting as many people together at these events or other events, because a lot of times we talk about these formal focus groups. I think we have a culture to just dig into what's going on at these operations, your operations, and figure out what's most efficient and try and blending that with other great minds to make some things great. And it doesn't have to be a formalized focus group. I think one module that I think doesn't get a lot of credit that we didn't mention today is the assembly module that we've created with a great partner up there in Quebec area, Canada, Montreal, Show Distribution. The assembly module is phenomenal. Carl, you've been impactful as heck on that. We were just talking to Carl yesterday, and you know, we're gonna kind of highlight, and we're gonna pick on Carl, right? So if Carl came to Monterey, what would Carl want to do first thing, Andrew? What do you think? Golf. Golf. You know, he would not be using this big tennis racket. He'd head straight to Pebble Beach, right? And you'd have to pay for it because we're not paying for that. But we'd try and get you a good deal. What else would he do? What else could he do here in Monterey?
I mean, I think the event, our IntelliEvent Profitability Summit is it's amazing. Anybody who's been, it's so much fun. And this year is going to be the best because we have so much pent up energy, like everybody. But you know, we've got 20 stand-up paddle boards, kayaks. Don loves to take people fishing. You know, we're going to have golf. We're going to have a wine trolley. We're going to have events for kids, for your spouses. Again, really urging you to bring your folks, bring your team members. We're obviously going to have a ton of learning. You're going to get to interact directly with developers. You're going to get to be part of small focus groups and breakout sessions on specific topics. There's just a ton going on, and I can promise you it's going to be our best event we've ever had, which is tough to top. We had 140 people at our event in 2019 or 125, something like that. So 2019 was pretty awesome. But we are definitely going to top that. Every one of our team members will be here. Great way to interact. And I'd say lastly, it's a great way to network with your peers. I know that, you know, we've had a number of customers that now do business with other customers that they never met before. You know, so if you're in Connecticut, you know, you can go call Alex McKeever if you need something, or, you know, if you're somewhere else, you know, that's how you get to meet and network with these folks. So, you know, which is great. But I think overall it's just going to be an absolutely phenomenal event where you'll have a ton to do. It's not just sitting in a classroom being bored. We like to have fun. We like to cut in the fun along with the, you know, hey, let's make sure we learn a lot. So the name holds up. The IntelliEvent Profitability Summit actually holds up to its name. So
yeah, absolutely.
and we're gonna kind of at the end of this, we're gonna show you a quick video. I guarantee you by the time the video is done, you'll be on Southwest Airlines or American Airlines booking your flight. So
yeah, and I think the other thing too, and we got to control this, but you watch how much one-on-one happens with development. I think we lose a lot of customers sometimes this event where they go. Well, they're hanging out with the dev squad. You know, who doesn't like to do that? We see that on the virtual sense on Wednesdays. One last thing, we're going to be giving away 2 free. What are we giving away, Andrew?
we are giving away.
We got to make sure, because ops excellence is all about tell them what you're going to do and then do it.
So we are giving away 2 separate trips for 2 to Monterey, airfare and 3 nights accommodations for our event. We will be drawing those 2 live for anyone who's come and sat through one of these sessions. We will be drawing them live tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific time, the end of the session. So
end of the
really 12:55,
yeah.
Pacific time. So
we'll play the video for that group again, and then the winners are, and you know,
and we're going to be right here.
And the only people that qualify are the people that showed up. And you guys got up. Some of you guys didn't get up that early, but folks like us, we're going to should we put our names in there too? No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But all right,
we're excited to, you know, the goal there is obviously you can bring yourself, your spouse, and you know, we're excited to kind of fund that effort to get you here. And oh, the only thing we require, if your name gets drawn out of the hat, you have to tell some friends to come join you. So, but no, we're excited about it. So
Anything else?
I think we're good. We're going to cut over to this video, and then we're going to let you guys get back to your day.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Allie, take over, or Lauren, take over and share the video.
Do your thing.